Well, good time of the day, Shadowstrike!
You know, I don't think I've ever seen Dawn cry.
Amnesia, huh?
Yeah, it's a really great game. You should review it.
Well, sure. I'm sure you only have good and pure intentions and hopes that this game will somehow better and enrich my life by experiencing it.
Of course. So, how was the game?
I need to go outside for a little bit and rethink breathing.
Oh, Romy!
I'll match your 3, and I'll raise you 2.
Not a bad move, but as you can see, go fish.
You guys are really bad at rummy.
Alright, guys. I'm ready to review it.
Okay. Let's do it!
Our story starts with us, the player, entering the role of Daniel, a man with memory of nothing but his name.
Soon after, he discovers a note explaining the culprit behind his memory loss is himself. And he must now navigate the dark hallways, avoiding terrifying abominations on a quest for revenge.
You know, if you want to motivate yourself to go on a revenge killing, it's probably best if you don't erase the memory of whatever the guy did to make you so mad in the first place.
It's to help motivate the player to move forward. So you'd be interested to know why you erased your memories, and hopefully get as mad at the man you're supposed to kill as he was along the way.
Yeah, okay, to the game's credit, the whole amnesia thing really does help with the immersion. I mean, you don't know who Daniel is? Well, he can relate, neither does he.
It's probably not the best way to plan a murder.
Yeah, but I know how I would.
This game largely consists of puzzles, and by puzzles I mean find lock, go down another path, find key, open lock, while dodging monsters at scripted moments.
See, this is probably where I have the biggest problems. Games like Biohazard have gotten enormous flack for their latest iteration of scares being too predictable. There are too many predetermined, locked-in, non-random jump scares. And while I do see the legitimacy of these complaints, it baffles me that the same community that praises Amnesia, when its literal core mechanics solely and exclusively rely on this.
Wow, look who's been reading a dictionary.
Sorry, I tend to start talking like that when I know there's a crap ton of criticism headed my way.
Not at all. While I disagree, I had never heard of this game being original. And I'm fairly comfortable with the scripted events the first time around. But after a few times, though, it does become a little annoying.
Yeah, see, I'm not saying there's no merit in this type of mechanic, just that I feel there's a large double standard here. And Amnesia gets away with things that other games never could. In fact, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis had a similar gameplay as its core gimmick. Difficult controls to make you feel weak, a strong, ominous opponent who could attack at any time, but only did at convenient plot points, and puzzles that are mostly going from one end of the map to the other, looking for a key or an item while managing a limited amount of resources. People got so angry at it for not innovating, just being a rehash of old ideas. Then some indie company does it, and bam, they're the savior of the industry. Now, mind you, I don't think it's bad. Heck, I love this formula. But I feel Amnesia's been overhyped in this regard. It does nothing new. Not a single aspect of it is original. Not the amnesia, or the first person, or the resource management, the monsters, not the puzzle, or even the plot. None of it's original.
But isn't that to its credit? I mean, it rehashed the same old stuff and spun it away. People would still love it.
Yes, I can definitely respect that.
I just don't quite feel it earned all the praise it garnered.
The presentation is probably one of the best parts of this game.
Without a doubt, it is the make or break point for this game. Heck, the same is true of nearly any horror game. The story, the game mechanics, everything in a game like this is all to support the atmosphere, the way it makes you feel. And if the game's intent is to make you feel scared or uneasy, then it hits it out of the park.
The music, the lighting, the long corridors, everything builds on that initial feeling of helplessness. You can't fight to protect yourself. All you can do is run and hide. Enjoying this atmosphere is one of the biggest reasons I bought this game. That is, and to scare the crap out of a few of my friends.
Believe it or not, after playing it in depth for the review, this is actually where my biggest problem was.
What? You said they hit the nail on the head.
Well, if they wanted to be unsettling, then yes.
It's a horror game. They're supposed to be unsettling.
Well, I actually disagree, to a degree. Okay, look, the best horror games are actually kind of misnamed. I think they should be called suspense games. Now, what exactly does this mean?
I didn't ask.
Well, I'll tell you.
A suspense game is one that splits your own mind against itself, making it scary, unpleasant, or creepy, but at the same time piquing your curiosity. Something that has you squirming for a bit, but once you hit that checkpoint, you can't help but grin and say, I wonder what's going to happen next. Amnesia: The Dark Descent does not do this well. In fact, it completely and utterly fails at this. And this is what kills it. See, it does a fine job of creating an unsettling atmosphere, but next to nothing to entice you and draw you along. It just kind of assumes you're a masochist who enjoys playing enough to string you from section to section.
What about getting revenge? I mean, when I was playing, I kinda did want to kill Alexander after getting some of the notes. But then again, I am a very revenge-oriented person.
Look, no offense, but you kind of have to be as brain dead as Daniel to not completely predict the plot by the first note. But we'll get into that more in the spoiler section. Alright, now that we're in spoiler territory, I can state my case against the story. Within the first 5 minutes, we find out that the amnesia was self-induced. There are a very, very few set of reasons someone would do this. And the list sims down to basically one once we learn that the main villain and Daniel were once friends. Oh, I see what you did there, game. Now I'm sure you'll be completely original, not rip off Biohazard anymore with, letters littered about that slowly explain how mad science experiment went wildly wrong. Oh wait, you did.
Basically, the story is, Daniel goes on an archaeological dig to Algeria, where he uncovers an ancient tomb and discovers a mysterious orb. He returns to England, where he tries to find info on the orb. Daniel learns that the expedition team he left behind has disappeared, and everyone he's come into contact with regarding the orb has turned up dead. Daniel receives a letter from Alexander offering to protect him. There, he finds out something called the Shadow has been murdering all those around Daniel and has followed him to the castle. To keep the Shadow away and buy time for his banishing ritual, Alexander insisted that the two must extract vitae from prisoners, a substance that is in the blood during times of stress. Daniel took part of these gruesome tortures and fed the prisoners amnesia potions, so they could be tortured repeatedly until they were all dead. Alexander then kidnapped the family, killing the father and imprisoning the mother and daughter. The daughter managed to escape, but Daniel tracked her down and murdered her. In Daniel's remorse, he realized that Alexander had been murdering innocents all along instead of the criminals he told Daniel he was killing to obtain the orb's power for himself. Cue the beginning of the story.
See, the mystery is so glaringly obvious. Where's the draw to go on? It has zero clever plot twist.
I kept hoping they would do something really clever or sweet, and reveal the letter was in fact a ruse from Alexander, and you've been playing into his hands all along. Or that the amnesia was a way for the villainous Daniel to enter some area only the pure-hearted could before his evil alter ego resurfaced. Something! Anything other than he couldn't live with the shame of it. Why didn't he just fix the dang problem before giving himself amnesia? He was clearly thinking far enough ahead to leave himself a note, and then he left his journal scattered all across the mansion so he could regain all his memories somehow. It was just a bare bones minimum of a story. Because I knew Daniel was a monster all along, I had no desire to save him. He wasn't a nice guy. He murdered tons of people to save his own skin. Let the poor sap die. See if I care. I hate it when a game drops me into the shoes of a character immediately after they commit some horrific crime and it says, "Oh, fix it." It really breaks the immersion. How can I relate to a character that just murdered children? And why would I want to? No mystery, no likability, and no reason to bother exploring your creepy castle that wants to kill me. Thank you very much.
While it's true Daniel can be called a monster for taking innocent lives, in his defense, he didn't know they were innocent. He believed in Alexander, the man in whose his eyes was saving him from the shadow. When he said they were criminals on death row, he believed them. When he found out the truth, he felt both betrayed by Alexander, who was using him to obtain the orb's power, and appalled at himself for being stupid enough to believe him. That plus the weight of all the innocent blood on his hands. I mean, can you really blame him for taking the amnesia potion? But he couldn't let Alexander get away with it. His hands were just as bloody as Daniel's, yet he was going to get what he wanted. So he erased his memory to get rid of the guilt. This allows the player to get as angry at Alexander as Daniel was. Of course, you get equally as mad at Daniel, but you win some, you lose some.
"18 or older."
What?
I'm sorry, but it's official Popcom policy that nudity be reserved for persons over the age of 18.
The Dragon Ball series had frontal nudity.
Yes, but that was different because it was of children. I see your point.
Well, I say 16 at the youngest.
Okay, realistically, I'd also say no one younger than 16 should play this. I mean, I'm sorry, but this game is filled with violence, nudity, torture. I mean, if it was a movie, it'd be rated R. However, on the plus side, it does have little to no cussing and a minimal of sexual creepiness. I mean, unless you're a necrophiliac. See, when it comes down to it, no matter how old you are, I simply cannot recommend this game to anyone. What few redeeming qualities are here done infinitely better in other games. For a game with similar atmosphere and infinitely better mechanics, try the Thief Trilogy. For a game with a great mystery that you just can't put down, try 999 and its sequel, Virtue's Last Reward. For a horror game about resource management, try any main Biohazard title, with the exception of 5 and 6. Now, in my opinion, Remake and Revelations are the highlight of the series. This is a game only for masochists, with a bare-bones plot, bare-bones mechanics, and no reason to keep playing.
So, well, I recommend this game to anyone getting into the horror genre. While the story's weak and it's overhyped quite a bit, I, at least, enjoyed it the first time I played through it. And I give this game a 6 out of 10. I recommend buying it, but only if you can find it on sale. Or on a Humble Bundle. Not sponsored.
Well, I'm Dallen Malna.
And I'm Shadowstrike.
God bless, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Subscribe. The shadow will get you. And you'll have to see naked people and stab them. In the butt. In the head.
The crazy butt stabber.
The crazy butt stabber.
The crazy butt stabber.
Crazy butt stabber. Okay.
Oh, it's still recording.
You know, this game really depressed me.
Yes.
In fact, it made me almost want to cry.
Yes.
So it's a really good thing I'm going to be playing Sonic and Pokemon soon. I love those little guys. I'll see ya.
Hey, Dallen?
Yeah?
Have you ever watched Clan
Where is Shadowstrike? She told me she was gonna loan me Clan Ad. Oh, my butt! Try it again.
Texting effects!
That's not the title system. So.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, after playing it in depth or
Because nudity's okay if you're 15 or older.
You said 18 or older before.
I know. I'm inconsistent. You're just twitching, trying so hard not to laugh. Yeah. You gotta get back in the shot. A game with a similar atmosphere, but a lot.
Josh, what are you doing?
You just start looking out for more view.
Yes, this is one of the most disappointing things I ever had. It's unopened.
Wait, you haven't opened it? There's nothing in it.
Yep.
That is awful. Someone played a mean trick on me.
That's what.
Just to look for it. This game is only for masochists with a bare-blown. I was so close. Bare-blowns! We have the bare-blowns here!
Alright,
Do you want the bare? 99 and its sequel, Virtue Last
It's still recording.
Wait, we're recording? The only. Oh, here we go. We got this. Okay. We're out of focus now. We were in focus when I started, and we're out of focus.
Table flip!
Look, when it comes down to.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm so sorry.
we're gonna do it again. Look, when it comes down to it, I simply. What?
I'm sorry, it's me. I'm